I look back and it's sad because we got to a point towards the end that we were just looking forward for it to be over. And that's not how you want to end a season. That's not a feeling that you want to have.
We as a group were incredibly resilient, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. What actually transpired behind closed doors is what Lexie Hull is about to reveal about the Fever's roller coaster 2024 season. She recently spoke with Locked On Women's Sports. Together with Caitlin Clark, Hull reveals the most significant details of the Indiana Fever's miraculous recovery.
Delighted to have ACC legend Lexie Hull. Is that what we have to do now? Oh my God.
Ew, I don't like the sound of that.
I know, me either.
What actually led to their initial breakdown, and how did they change their strategy to become title contenders? What part did Christy Sides play in all of this? And what is her true opinion of her new coach? Prepare for the inside scoop on Indianapolis Wild Ride, Stephanie White. Are you ready to go?
When I was in college, I didn't even know if I wanted to play professional basketball because I didn't know if it was a real career path for me.
Imagine this. Although it wasn't how she had anticipated her 2024 season to begin, Lexie Hull, a past national champion and the 6th overall pick in the 2022 WNBA draft, was watching and waiting on the sidelines as Christy Wallace and Katie Lou Sampson played.
When you're talking to Christy Sides early on, where you're being told, I am going to get more of this playing time, more of this opportunity, and does that help feed your confidence as well?
During her first 2 years in the WNBA, Hull struggled with her three-point shooting, only making 11 to 22% of her three-point attempts, which was a significant decline from her excellent shooting at Stanford.
I think, definitely early on in my career when our team, and my first year, winning 5 games in a season, and then you're not performing great, it's like, where do I belong? This league is tough. What am I doing wrong? And so there's doubts for sure.
It was difficult to bear the pressure. Hull worked hard during every practice and game to demonstrate that she belonged. She wanted to demonstrate that she could compete in the world's top women's basketball league, not only that she was worthy of being selected 6th in the draft.
Your ability to shoot was something that we've talked about on previous programs. It's something that you never questioned. It was something that Lynn Dunn was certain of when she drafted you. It was something that, if I will be frank, people around the league were hoping for. This idea that, something you'd always done well in college. It was difficult to find a rhythm. It was difficult to find playing time, which makes a difference as far as a rhythm goes.
However, things began to shift on May 25th when they played Las Vegas. Hull immediately felt more at ease on the floor after getting hot and making 4 three-pointers early in the game.
You just put up shooting 47.1% from 3.
Hull noted that having more opportunities to play and watching my shots go in definitely increased my confidence. As the season progressed, Hull continued to improve, and when she played more than 30 minutes in a game, she made an incredible 66.7% of her three-pointers.
When you played more than 30 minutes per game this season, do you know what you shot from 3? You shot 66.7% from 3. When you went out there, there's no such thing as tired legs in that scenario. You are sinking 2 and 3. No one does that. No one does. It's just incredible.
The most significant shift was in Hull's perspective. She stopped questioning herself and began to value her path. I'm just thankful for the growth of the sport, she remarked, feeling better about her circumstances.
It's incredibly satisfying. Looking back on a season, the things that you take are those percentages. Those are the things that, you're working to improve year after year. And so just, really, really proud of myself for sticking with it and believing in myself and continuing to work. And then being able to finish the season with a percentage that I'm proud of.
The entire Indiana Fever team faced a challenge that threatened to end their season before it really started. 11 games in 20 days, which seems impossible, doesn't it? For the 2024 Fever, it was just the beginning of their uphill battle, but Hull's comeback was fantastic. The Fever season was about to get really interesting, and Hull was ready to be a big part of it.
Our season was not always fun, and I think that you learn a lot from that, and so being able to kind of talk about those experiences and share how we can be better and just stick it out. Don't it's okay. Like, yes, losing games sucks. No one wants to lose games.
Imagine going through this gauntlet as a young team still figuring out who they are. The Fever weren't just playing games. They were competing against the league's elite night after night with no time to recover. The WNBA hadn't experienced a schedule this harsh since 2003.
Obviously, even if we didn't have a brutal schedule at the start, the expectations are still there and it might not go how you want it to go. And that's just part of those growing pains. And then you add in trying to build chemistry, and then you're adding in a very difficult schedule.
Expectations were extremely high for a team that had just been selected as the #1 draft pick. But instead of living up to the hype, they found themselves in a downward spiral as the pressure mounted and the club faltered out of the gates with a depressing 2-win and loss record. In her own words, Lexie Hull, who is still getting used to life following her early season bench spell, spoke about the team's mindset and felt the pressure of those expectations.
All of these pressures and expectations, again, it's like, are we good enough? Are we going to be good enough?
The team's spirits were shaky behind closed doors, coach. With games coming thick and fast, there was little time to work on their weaknesses or come up with new strategies. It seemed like the Fever was caught in a perfect storm of poor scheduling and fierce competition. Christie Sides faced the unenviable task of keeping her players motivated and focused despite the growing losses. But how do you build team chemistry when you're constantly on the road facing one difficult opponent after another?
We ran the numbers at the Nets. No one had gone through what you went through since the 2003 WNBA season. Was it hard in those early days to kind of keep your equilibrium between the attention and the amount of difficulty in the schedule itself?
How near did they go to disintegrating? The tipping moment was close by. It's possible that weaker teams would have broken down under the strain, blaming one another and exploding into cliques, but something extraordinary occurred during those lowest points that exposed the team's hidden weapon toughness. She claimed that rather than turning against one another, they looked to one another for support and dug deep, pushing through difficult exercises whenever they could find the time. We as a group were incredibly tough and stayed together.
But I think we as a group were really resilient and stuck together and believed that this process was going to play out and that we were going to get better. We're going to be a team that can compete against every team in the league. And we did that by the end of the season. So I think I'm proud looking back that we didn't just give in and say, it's not this year. Like, we'll start over next year.
It was about creating a relationship that would endure the most difficult obstacles the WNBA could present, not simply about honing their skills.
We dug deep, we practiced hard, and eventually when we had time to practice, in the start, we didn't really have time to practice as a team. We got closer, we got better, and I think you saw that how we played on the court. It just continued to get better and better throughout the year.
Even though they persevered through the storm, the Fever realized that they needed a spark, a catalyst that could turn their potential into results on the court, to turn their season around. Little did they know that spark was about to arrive in spectacular fashion. Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever's rookie sensation, created a frenzy of excitement as media crowded practices, spectators fought for tickets, and all eyes were on Indianapolis. However, there was still a significant question. How would this spectacular rookie fit with a club that was still figuring things out?
I remember the draft party in Cambridge, which was the first time we had that many people in Cambridge for not really any performance. The stands were filled, people had their jerseys, people had their gear on, and it was just a hint of what the season was going to be like.
For the team members of Lexie Hull, as Clark settled in, they had to deal with a new level of attention and pressure to win and live up to the hype surrounding their new star. Hull was astounded by the change and said, "It's awesome to see everyone grow." She added that Hull had to adapt to Clark's unique playing style because her passing and vision were unlike anything Hull had ever seen. "It took me some time to realize she could pass to me from the other end of the court."
I mean, I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. So now it's okay, every cut I have, every cut I make, every fast break I run, I have a real opportunity to get the ball, which definitely like took me a second. And I think it really just took one of those to really get my head around like, oh, she's all the way down at the other end of the floor and she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So, I mean, it's been awesome.
As Hull grew accustomed to this, her confidence suddenly increased and the game felt more open, with every play on the court having the potential to result in something significant.
It's so fun to be able to know that you're not just cutting to cut, knowing that you're cutting with the possibility of like actually making a really cool play. So that makes it that much more worthwhile.
However, this new potential presented a problem because Clark was drawing defenders more frequently, so she had to consider whether she could take use of these opportunities. How would she respond in court to this newfound freedom? And
I think it's really fun because they garner so much attention, obviously, from the other team's defense. So then it allows the other players, me included, to make cuts, make reads, and they're really good at finding, those openings and giving the ball up when it's needed and finding the better shot. So it's really fun, and I feel really lucky to get to play with them.
Imagine a player shooting 66.7% over 30 minutes of play. It seems unthinkable, but how did Lexie Hull turn these video game-like numbers into reality and become one of the league's top players? Shooters Hull has incredible shooting stats. When she played for more than 30 minutes, she hit an amazing 66.7% of her shots, or 2 out of 3, leaving the defense in disbelief. Her three-point percentage also increased to 47.1%, which was far higher than the league average of 35%.
I think, kind of how you mentioned earlier, just finding the rhythm, finding the confidence in game. Shooting 25 shots in a row in practice is different than getting your 4 looks in a game and not being able to knock them down and having the confidence to continue shooting them. So I think just getting the opportunity in that second half of the season and seeing them go in and then continuing to get those open looks really just fed that confidence, and I think that hot streak towards the end.
You would think Hull would have altered her shooting style or spend the entire day in the gym, but she didn't. Instead, she concentrated on maintaining her composure and confidence during games, accepting the pressure rather than crumbling under it. Hull stated that she wants to keep getting better, but shooting this well comes with its own set of demands. People begin to question whether she has lost her touch after one poor game.
You shot 60% from 3 during those 11 starts during the regular season.
Hull prepares by practicing consistently and psychologically preparing herself. She focuses on maintaining composure under pressure, and her improved shooting isn't just about her abilities. It's also about how she fits in with the team when other players are attracting attention. Hull's shoots are better.
We have some incredible playmakers on our team and incredible people that can get you the ball when you're open and create advantages. And so me being one of those people that I'm spacing the floor and I need to knock down those shots. So not only, holding myself accountable to do that as my role and hit those open looks, but also being able to stand up for my teammates and say, thank you. You're doing the work, you're doing the hard work, and I'll be here and I'll knock it down when I need to.
The Indiana Fever's journey took an exciting turn with the arrival of Stephanie White, whose name carries weight in Indy basketball circles, and this coaching change feels like a homecoming that could reshape the team's future. However, one player performing well does not always mean the team wins. With a new coach in charge, how will hot shooting fit into the team's plans, and what does she think of Coach White's ideas for the team?
Immediate reaction to her is she's a winner and she will pull what's best out of everybody, and just very excited about the opportunity to learn from her. And obviously she's went to Purdue, played with the Fever, coached with the Fever. So she's a legend in Indianapolis. So excited to have her back and excited to just be able to completely dive in with her.
With a long history with the team, White is a WNBA champion and Fever legend who is now tasked with leading Indiana back to glory. She played for the Fever and coached with them, and now she is back in charge. But White isn't here to relive the past. She has a clear vision that turns potential into championships. The true issue is taking a good team and turning them into great ones, even though the Fever have quality.
I think everyone's going to be really bought in and just excited to see, how she tweaks things and her vision of how we can be better, and individually how we can be better to collectively be the best we could be. So just really excited. And I know that she's excited to be there and excited to change what we can do.
After a successful shooting season, Lexie Hull is already noticing White's effect. She has listed particular ways that I can be more dynamic. Hull revealed that White wants her to step up her game and be a danger from every angle of the court.
She's mentioned specific ways I can be more dynamic. So, finishing at all 3 levels, being able to use my size and post up and have more of a mid-range game to just make me harder to guard.
It's a new approach for Indiana, and the team is energized. The big question now is how White's methods will work with this young, talented roster. Will her championship experience lead to quick success, or will the team need time to adjust? White's coaching style is appending things by pushing players to use their size better and become harder to defend against.
When you make all 5 players on the court hard to guard, it's going to make us really good. But also she's, going to be focused on that defensive side. So bringing as much as I can on that end as well. So I think she just is expecting a lot from everybody. And as every coach should, I'm excited about that.
As this new chapter commences, it is evident that White and the Fever have more in mind than just winning games. They also want to inspire future players who aspire to wear the fever and rekindle the passion between the team and the city. Paul expressed confidence in White's influence, saying that she is a winner and will bring out the best in everyone. The jersey.
Our ceilings is a championship, and hopefully we can reach that.
Fans are thrilled about Stephanie White's arrival, but the team's path to glory isn't as clear-cut as it seems. There is a secret obstacle that could dash their hopes of winning a championship. When the Fever reaches the playoffs, the audience becomes crazy and everyone is excited, but then the pressure comes. That's where the Fever struggle begins, and it's do or die. It's difficult to hear, but it shows how hungry the team is. Not just happy to make the playoffs, but they want to win it all. Lexie Hull is straightforward when she says, "We can do better than that. We can go further." What does the Fever need to win a championship experience? In Paul's words, we just need experience. You can't purchase it or practice it. You have to go through it yourself. Experience the anguish of losing and the delight of winning important matches.
I'm excited for all of us to be there and get to play together and hopefully bring home some hardware.
The Fever are putting in a lot of effort to prepare for a championship run. They're studying previous winners to see what they need to do better and strengthening their mental toughness for the playoff strain. "I think we can win a championship, and I hope we do," Hull says, sounding as though she genuinely believes it. But the major question is, what is the final thing they require? As the squad prepares for 2025, there's a new vibe in the group. Perhaps it's a player making a major step forward, a new strategy that surprises everyone, or perhaps it's just time for this young team to mature into champions. Who knows? This could be the year they finally win.
I'm just so excited for the growth and so excited for what these kids in middle school and even high school, what the opportunities will be like once they graduate college. And yeah, so it's just great that they get to see us so that they can be us 5 to 10 years from now.
With the Indiana Fever leading the way, the future of women's basketball looks brighter than ever. Are you excited? Let us know in the comments, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Lexie Hull's message to young girls is clear and inspiring. It's possible for you. Her words are based on real experience from the ups and downs both on and off the court. The Fever's journey shows what can happen when you keep pushing forward even when things seem tough. The team has come a long way from struggling to make an impact to becoming real contenders as they aim for the championship. They're lighting the way for a new generation of players who see themselves in Hull Clark and every member of this determined team. We'll see you in the next one after you click the video on the screen.